Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back
Happy New Year.
for another deep dive. The start of a new year can feel like a lot of things to a lot of different people,
Right.
especially if you're carrying some grief with you into 2025.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
for this deep dive, we're going to be looking at this blog post called Finding Your Way Forward, a New Year, a New Perspective on Grief. You know, how even with loss, how the new year can be a time for hope and growth and all that.
It is interesting how the blog post really emphasizes that we don't have to move on from grief,
Right.
but rather move forward with it.
Yeah, that's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
So how does the blog suggest we do that? Move forward.
Focuses on how new beginnings can actually help us integrate grief into our lives.
Okay.
Instead of trying to erase the pain, we can find ways to honor it
Hmm.
while also looking ahead with courage and hope.
I love that.
Yeah.
Honoring the grief, but not letting it define the whole journey.
Right.
It seems like the blog is really encouraging a sense of possibility, even within the sadness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it starts with acknowledging that it's okay to not feel okay.
Mm.
There's often this pressure to be happy and festive during the holidays and New Year's, and it can be incredibly difficult when you're grieving.
Yeah.
The blog reminds us that it's perfectly valid to feel a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
Sadness, longing, even moments of joy.
Without judgment.
Without judgment, that's huge.
Yeah.
That permission to just feel whatever comes up.
Yeah.
That feels so freeing. So the blog offers some practical steps for honoring those feelings.
Right.
What really stood out to you?
Well, the blog talks about the importance of self-connection.
Okay.
And I don't just mean, bubble baths and face masks.
Right.
It's about really tuning into your needs.
Okay.
Are you getting enough sleep? Eating nourishing foods?
What activities, even small ones, bring a spark of joy?
Yeah.
And how can you prioritize those?
Yeah. It's like becoming your own best friend
Yeah.
during a really tough time. So much of the new year is focused on outward achievements,
Right.
but here the emphasis is on inward reflection
Exactly.
and care.
Yeah, and the blog suggests tools like journaling or meditation
Okay.
to help process those complex emotions.
Yeah.
Even a few minutes of mindfulness can make a difference.
For sure. It's amazing how taking even 5 minutes to breathe deeply or write down my thoughts
Right.
can help just shift my perspective even a little bit.
Yeah.
The blog also talks about the power of, meaningful reflection during the new year.
Yeah.
What are some ways that we can do that?
Well, reflection could involve creating a memory box
Okay.
filled with cherished items, writing letters to your loved one,
Okay.
or even starting a new tradition in their honor. It's about finding personal ways to keep their memory alive.
That's so beautiful. And it doesn't have to be these grand gestures. It can be as simple as lighting a candle
Exactly.
or cooking your favorite meal.
Yeah.
It's about finding what resonates with you. And the blog also reminds us that connecting with others,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether it's friends, family, or a support group,
Mm-hmm.
can be so helpful during this time.
Yeah.
Sharing your experiences and feelings can offer a sense of solace and understanding.
Absolutely. Even with that support, sometimes you're going to run into things that are tough, like grief triggers
Right.
that can kind of catch you off guard.
Totally.
The blog acknowledges those can be anniversaries, holidays, or even certain places and belongings.
Yeah, those things can be so unexpected
Yeah.
and intense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's reassuring that the blog offers some practical ways to deal with them.
Right.
For example, when it comes to anniversaries or holidays, what really resonated with
Well,
you?
planning ahead is key.
Okay.
The blog suggests asking yourself, what would feel supportive during those times?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's having a close friend or family member on call,
Okay.
skipping certain events,
Yeah.
or even just giving yourself permission to feel your emotions
Really?
without judgment.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive and creating a plan that really honors your needs. What about when grief is triggered by certain places or belongings?
Yeah.
The blog talks about that too, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And it really validates that sometimes avoiding those triggers is actually the healthiest choice.
Okay.
There's no need to force yourself to confront those things before you're ready.
Right.
Just give yourself grace and space.
And that applies to social situations too.
Mm-hmm.
The blog really emphasizes communicating your needs
Absolutely.
to your loved ones.
It's about setting clear expectations. If you can only stay at a gathering for a limited time,
Yeah.
just let people know.
Right.
Or have an escape plan
Yeah.
if things get overwhelming.
It's about like finding that balance between honoring your grief,
Right.
but also engaging with the world in a way that feels manageable.
Exactly.
So we've talked a lot about grief and triggers and all that, but I'm curious about the blog's suggestions for like
Yeah.
new beginnings
hmm
and opportunities for growth.
New beginnings don't require these grand gestures. It could
Yeah.
be something as simple as trying a new hobby,
Yeah,
reconnecting with nature,
right.
or even setting an intention for how you want to feel in the coming year.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, instead of focusing on achievements, it's
Oh.
about cultivating a sense of like well-being and purpose.
I love that.
Yeah.
That shift in focus. It's about aligning with what truly matters.
hmm
The blog also shares some really inspiring stories
It does.
of people finding hope and resilience.
It does. There's a story of a woman who started writing letters to her deceased husband each New Year's Eve,
Okay.
sharing her hopes and dreams.
Mm.
It became this beautiful way for her to feel connected to him and find meaning.
That's so touching. It's a reminder that healing can take so many forms and that finding joy and
Yeah.
purpose,
Mm.
even in grief, it's
Yeah.
testament to like human strength.
Yeah, and these stories aren't meant to diminish anyone's pain.
Right.
They just highlight that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
there can be those glimmers of light,
Yeah.
moments of connection and a path towards healing and growth.
Speaking of glimmers of light, the blog also talks about self-care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Self-care is not selfish.
Right.
It's essential.
It's so important.
Eating nutritious food,
Yeah.
getting enough sleep,
Mm-hmm.
moving your body,
Right.
spending time in nature. These are all acts of self-love that can help replenish your energy and support your emotional well-being.
It's about being gentle with yourself and recognizing that you deserve care and compassion, especially during times of grief.
Absolutely.
It's about nourishing your mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly.
It's so easy to get caught up in everything,
Right.
all the hustle and bustle of the new year.
Yeah.
But this has been a good reminder to like slow down, tune in, prioritize self-care.
And the blog also emphasizes that like
Yeah.
healing, it's not linear.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
there will be good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Steps forward, steps back. And that's okay.
It's a process. It looks different for everyone.
Right.
There's no timeline for grief.
Nope.
The important thing is to just be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself and remember that you're not alone.
You're not alone. And the blog concludes with this powerful message of hope, reminding us that grief is a testament to the love we shared
Yeah.
and that our loved one's memory lives on within us.
That's a beautiful way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like their presence may be different,
hmm
but the love remains. And even in the face of loss, we can find the strength to heal, to grow, to embrace the future with courage and hope.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
listener, what is one small way you can honor your loved one's memory as you move into this new year?
Yeah.
Something that feels both meaningful and manageable.
Right.
Something that brings a sense of comfort or purpose even amidst the grief.
That's a really powerful question to reflect on. And it brings us back to like the heart of this whole conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Finding those glimmers of hope and possibility, even in the face of loss.
Exactly.
This blog post has offered so many like valuable insights and practical tips
It really has.
for anyone navigating grief during the new year.
It's a reminder that while this time can be challenging, it can also be a time for healing,
Yeah.
growth, and even renewal.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope it was helpful,
We hope so.
and we wish you a new year filled with peace, healing, and moments of joy.